Money follows value. Anything you buy, it is because there's some value that it adds to you. Even things that may be negative. When we're talking about being vibrationally rich, understand that what happens is when you are in alignment and you are doing what you are passionate about with the intention of adding value to others, that increases it's almost like there's a universal principle in here where when you are doing what you're passionate about, the universe supports it more so and sends you the people, sends you the business or whatever it is for you to then accomplish that, because it's not just a ego desire, it is more so also a soul desire. And I think where a lot of people also get caught is vibrationally rich, they think of, or just rich in general, they think of only money. So because the main focus is on money, people focus on money and they want to attract money. But money is a side effect of value. When I used to work the 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes, if I went into work every day and I focused on the money, selling $3,000 a day because I knew I got paid 10% commission, that meant I made $300, and that was a decent day, I would then focus on the $3,000. But I noticed it never really did that well, and it felt cold, and I didn't enjoy the process as much as when I went in with the intention of adding value to others. I would have the intention of also enjoying talking to the people, the customers, selling women's shoes. I would enjoy connecting with other people, having fun, joking around, and adding value, literally helping them feel better so that by the time they left, they felt better, even if they didn't buy. But the funny thing is when I had that intention, they normally would buy because I wasn't attached to outcome, but also they felt better. When people feel and they increase their emotions, they're more likely to buy. So that was an interesting thing that I learned, but I wouldn't be focused on the $3,000. It was the energy of exchange, the value I could give in exchange for the $3,000. Instead of focusing on YouTube views or podcast downloads, I focus on the energy of me loving what I'm talking about, expressing energy so that then people can feel that and they'll naturally want to join in on the party, listening to more episodes or subscribing to the YouTube channel. So metrics are a funny thing because money in essence as well, before we get into the 5 secrets, money is a neutral idea. Money is something that only has value because we as a collective have decided that money has value. We used to, back in the day, we used to barter. We would trade things. We would say, I'll give you these 3 goats for those 10 chickens, and that's how we would deal with and think about our exchange of value. Exchange of value. That's the word. That's important to understand when it comes to vibrationally rich. Money is an exchange of value. And what happens is, back in the day, we realized, hey, it is easier to exchange some agreed upon metric rather than carrying around 3 goats and a whole bunch of heavy metal. Why don't we have these pieces of paper, which only have meaning because we've given them meaning, and then we set up rules for how to get it, and then we've set up these taxes so that when you get it, then you have to pay the government on it, which is also kind of a funny thing because back in the early days, what they realized is, if people feel fear and they want to feel safety, we could bring in this thing where people pay like a 15 to 20% of everything they make to the government, and it'll go towards these really good causes like these wars and these things happening so that we can feel safe. And that's when they started taxing back in the day, and then they just slowly started increasing taxes and increasing them. And we've just all agreed to it. A lot of this shit's all based on agreement. We've agreed that paper has this built-in, that has this meaning that we all decide to give it, and we agree that if I give you this much money, you'll give me this, and go to the store, and this costs this much money, and we've agreed that these designer clothes that they're made in Italy, made in Italy is way more valuable than made somewhere else, so what we'll do is we'll pay way more for it. You know, it's funny when we look at things and we start to see that everything has no meaning other than the meaning we give it, but that collectively we may all give it a certain meaning, so then therefore it has more value in our eyes. But at a certain point, we said, oh, it's easier to have paper money. And now we're in crypto. And it's like, hey, now it's not even paper, which paper is just printed, and the government may just be printing money to make up for all the stuff going on in the world, putting them further in debt. But that can't happen with crypto. So now there's this new belief system around that. So it's interesting how it's evolved. And I think crypto probably is going to be the wave, the next wave, as it's already happening. But in general, realize money is just simply an exchange of value. But realize this: money follows value. Anything you buy, it is because there's some value that it adds to you. Even things that may be negative. You could say, well, how would you get value out of someone buying some hardcore drug? Well, they perceive as it having some type of value, some type of relief in order for them to buy it. And if you look at any show, I like watching the show Shark Tank. Watching the show Shark Tank, any product that you see that will do well is a product that adds value in some way, even something like the Scrub Daddy. This little scrubber thing that it's like that itself, people see that as adding value, so they're willing to pay $5, $6, $10 or whatever it is for that thing. So that's how you know if something's going to have a high evaluation, is how much value does it add and how convenient is it for people, and how many people can it add value to. Those are things that you can think of. So when you start switching value and you start seeing it in a new way, you'll start relating to it differently. So you'll start realizing more about the vibration of it. So the first secret to becoming vibrationally rich is knowing this. By the time you become vibrationally rich and you have the external reality being very abundant, it will feel natural. It will feel natural. It will not be on a pedestal. It will not be, oh, once I attract this. I remember even back in the day before I got on YouTube, I was like, man, to have this much money or to have this much, like this kind of car or whatever it is, it's going to feel amazing. Once you get it, and I know you've probably heard Jim Carrey and all these other celebrities say, I wish everyone got rich and famous, because they'd realize that it's not everything. And when it comes to making lots of money, by the time it almost won't come into your life until it is natural. What does that natural mean? It means that it becomes natural for your state of being and for your identity to have the hundreds of thousands, the tens of thousands, or the millions of dollars. It is natural because you've become that person. Remember, you don't get in life that which you want. You could say, if you want it, you're going to resist it, and it won't be natural for you. But if you become that kind of person, it becomes natural for you. And one of the things for this that I think is important to realize is your beliefs. Your beliefs about yourself and your beliefs about what is possible. This is key for becoming vibrationally rich. Now, one of the things that, the way that it works is, imagine that there's this cyclic chart. There's beliefs, there's feeling, there's thoughts, there's action, there's results, which fuel beliefs. And it's a thing where each points to the next. So beliefs point and cause thoughts, which cause, beliefs cause feeling. We can't have a feeling unless we have a meaning first. We may have an agreed meaning that, oh, this bad thing happened in the world. We all agree that this means that, but we must have a general sense of meaning in order to have a feeling. If you lose your job and you feel horrible about it, it's because you have a meaning there that says losing a job is a bad thing, or a story tied to it that says, I loved this job. Some people may lose their job and it may be the best thing. Then, you know what? Now I'm going to go for my passion. Actually, I hated that job. What a relief. The meaning is what causes the feeling. And then from the feeling, it then goes to the thoughts. We have thoughts that are equal to those feelings. And then thoughts then cause action. They can cause action, which then gets a certain result, which reinforces the initial belief. So if we want to become vibrationally rich, we have to become aware of our beliefs about ourselves. Our beliefs are what is causing us to be either vibrationally rich or poor. And that means, are we motivated by fear or love? This is a trap that a lot of people that start to become successful fall into as well, is once you start gaining a certain amount of success, you start trying to hold on to that which you have. You then become bitter about paying taxes. You, especially higher taxes the more you make, which is a part of the game, unfortunately, right now. And you just in general, what happens is your sense of you go from more so growth to maintaining the status quo, which just protecting what you have, which isn't as expansive of a place to be in. But in the beginning, normally there's this sense for growth. There's this sense of excitement. And for me, that was an sense of excitement. I was excited to just be making videos. I was excited to buy my time back when I put my 2 weeks in at the job I didn't like. It was very exciting. But one of the things that I really recommend people do is you find other people that have done that which you want to do. I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment from my podcast called the Aaron Doughty Podcast. If you want to listen to the rest of that episode, click the link below. You'll see it on iTunes and Spotify. You can download episodes. It's so easy to listen to. You can do it while you're working out, while you're driving. It's so convenient. And that's where new episodes go live every Tuesday and Thursday. Every single week, I have guests coming on the podcast. I have solo episodes, and we go really deep. This is really a place where I get very personable, and I share more about things I'm thinking of. I share my top book insights, and you can check it out and subscribe below, and you will see it there. So iTunes, Spotify, listen to the rest of the episode below as well, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace, much love, and namaste.